we're diving right back in. I don't know, it's maybe been 30 seconds. So let's kind of describe the relationship between Cheat Engine and what it does and what we're doing in a programming language. Because essentially, what Cheat Engine is doing is it's reverse engineering the process of what we're doing in a programming language. So we illustrate here assigning memory locations to variable names, and then we're assigning values to those memory locations. What are we doing with, that is how you work in a programming language. Whenever you're writing a program, you're making up variables, you're assigning values to those variables, and that's it. Or that's not it, but that's, when you're dealing with variables in a programming language and you're writing source code and things like that, it's essentially one of the fundamental things that you do. Go back to Cheat Engine. What are we doing, on a philosophical level? What are we doing in Cheat Engine? Well, we are essentially reversing the process of what we're doing in a programming language. Instead of declaring variables and then giving them values, what we're doing is we're saying to Cheat Engine, here's a memory chunk that I want to search, i.e. the process, and I want to start searching for values, which is the third or the last step down here. I want to start searching for values. What's the value we're searching for? Well, in this case it's 1, or in this case it would be 1, which is a shitty initial value, but whatever. And then what is Cheat Engine doing? It's finding the values of 1, and it's returning a list of addresses, which is essentially the intermediate step here. So we're telling Cheat Engine search for 1. What is it doing when it finds values that are equal to 1? It's returning the memory location associated with those values. That's great. And then we can filter that down based on a series of rules and whatnot. We've gone through all that. And how do we get Cheat Engine to go back up to this top step here? What are we writing in the program language? Can we ever figure out the variable name in the source code? Or what's a variable declared in source code? Can we ever figure that out in Cheat Engine? Maybe. I don't know. To reverse that process, or to reverse the process up to that sort of pedantic level, would require so what am I trying to say? It would require just an incredible amount of work, none of which is even necessary. So we're just going to basically say that, can we reverse this all the way back up to the top level? Maybe, but we don't have to. We don't care about what a variable is actually named, because what a variable is named is, as we talked about, it's we talked about how variables are named relative to a process. So we have a variable x in Shadowrun.exe. We could open up another process, whatever, Firefox.exe. It probably has a variable x. So whenever you're dealing with variable names and whatnot, it's always relative to the process anyway. So it doesn't even matter whether we could go up to this top level or not. We don't need to go up to that top level, and Cheat Engine is not going to do us any favors in that respect. It shouldn't do us any favors in that respect, because of exactly what we're talking about right here. The only thing that we need to reverse as a process, as far as variables are concerned, is what's the value we're looking for, what's the memory location of that value, and then there's a left side of this intermediate step. We don't give a shit what that step, or what the left side of that step is. We just want to go from value to memory location, and that's it. So again, let's kind of illustrate this a little bit. What do we got? 244. Wow, we're actually being slightly concise in this video. So let's put a bunch of spaces in here. Let's sip a bit of the cold can. Take a deep breath. I should really shave, but it's hardly relevant. Anyway, see if we can break this down a little bit. Shadowrun. No. What we are going to pretend is the Shadowrun source code for the game, for the Karma creation screen, or for the character creation screen. I love Notepad. as you can tell. All right, so we're not going to put anything in there yet. Yeah, all right, we are going to put something in here. So we have anything we're going to type below here is just what we're going to pretend in very simple terms. We've been talking about, we're going to assign values to variables and yada, yada, yada. So we're going to basically sort of take that pretend programming language that we're using. We're going to apply it to Shadowrun. And we're going to say that, let's back out. So when we're going through character creation, obviously the gender here is neutral to some regard. The karma that we have available when we go to the character creation screen is set based on whether we are clicking or have this highlighted, or whether, what archetype we have. If we select different archetypes, so our karma here is 5. Let's go select a different one, see if our value changes. Karma's 5. I want to say there's one where it's 8. I don't know, we'll do that. Really? Oh, that's stupid. No, change the race. Alright, there we go. So you can see that there's a set of rules in the previous menu that determines what our available karma is going to be for the character creation screen. We could maybe go in and find some of those rules with assembly scripts and things like that. Maybe start messing with them and whatnot, and modifying them. That's something we'll do in later videos, much later videos probably, gauging by where we are right now. But what we want to do is sort of express in a extremely generic way with our sort of made up programming language here how we're going to set the value for available karma. So we're going to sort of gloss over purposely some of the details here as far as what the rules are that set our karma. We're just going to pretend for the moment that this, and this, those are the only selections that we can deal with, and that's sort of the flow, if you will, of every character creation screen. There's no other option. Clicking that is not an option. Clicking that is not an option. These 3 selections are it, so that the application, basically Shadowrun the game, does not have to check what values it's looking for and then adjust, the available karma that it's going to give you in some dynamic way. We're just, for simplicity's sake, we're going to assume there's a single path through this menu. There's no other way to get around it, and so Shadowrun does not have to check any values or do any logical calculations or branching, if you want to say that. So again, available karma always going to be 37 in our example. Let's see what we got. All right, not too bad. So if we were going to write a statement that talked about, or that expressed what the available karma is for a new character, we could say that there's a location in memory that has a value, and that value, or let's go back. This is doing this off the top of my head, so bear with me here. What are we going to say? We're going to say that there's a value in memory called max karma. Or no, we're not even going to do that. We're going to be more descriptive. So we're going to say karma points available, because we talked about the underscore and we like to use that. Karma points available, 37. And character creation, karma points equals karma points available. So, I mean, well, there's some indirection going on here, in the sense that, why are we setting this variable to to the value of 37, and then we're setting this variable to this variable, when we could just as easily do this. There are some reasons why we're putting this level of indirection in there. It's complicated. Again, this is a contrived example, but the reason why we're doing this is to just get comfortable on a basic level with the idea that it's not always a one-to-one thing. You know, it's not always some variable equals some constant value. More often than not, or as a matter of fact, more often than not, what you're going to wind up doing is you're going to wind up saying, you know, some new variable, or we'll just say variable, new variable is equal to well, no, we won't do that yet, but there's a new variable that we want to make. Put some spaces so we can delineate between them. It's equal to the value of some other variable or some old variable, and then there's going to be some something with some other variable, and then even some other variable. You're going to wind up, again, this is the more common case when you get into actual source code. That you know, very rarely are you throwing constants into the expressions to assign values to new variables. You're gonna wind up having, you know, declaring a new variable and assigning some value to it that is absolutely dependent on the value of other variables, and not just one variable or two variables or three. But you know, it's certainly in the more complicated cases, we're just using addition here. But you know, this one and then that one and then that one, and then you know, you may even have some rules of precedence. So, you know, what do we mean by that? Well, you know, you can put parentheses around things, and, you know, again, complicated stuff. So, you know, why are we doing this up here? Well, we're doing it just so we can get comfortable with the idea of, you know, what are we actually saying? 37 goes into this variable here. This new variable is pulling the value out of this old variable. You know, we're leaving that level of indirection in there so that we can just get comfortable with the concept. And if we don't understand these basic two lines, then, you know, obviously we need to go back, revisit some of the stuff we've been talking about. So, again, quick time check here. We got 721, we got 900, so we got about 3 minutes left, something like that. Yeah, so available karma is 37. Again, we're diving back in here to reverse engineer cheat engine. There's a variable that declares what the karma points available during the character creation screen is. Then we make another variable, karma creation, karma points equals whatever the hell we set this to. So now it's 37. Then in our made-up source code, think about this. We're going to say player karma equals whatever the value of character creation karma points is. And then, you know, is this enough for us to write in our program code? No, because these are these are statements that are executed initially, but they will not. There's no logic that we've applied to, you know, how to recalculate these values or anything like that. So we're gonna make something up here real quick. How are we gonna do this? We're gonna say when the value of player karma changes. No, we're not even gonna do that. We're gonna say when the value of character creation karma points changes. Indent here just for visual clarity. Put some new lines in there. Again, visual clarity. When the value of character creation karma points as a variable, we know what we're talking about here. When that changes, we want to apply the difference to player karma, and that is a logic that is going to produce the bug that we had in one of the first videos where we're going to spend too many points, and it's going to basically move our available player karma down into the negative range. And when we apply, you know, again, we're applying this logic. Every time this value up here changes, it's applying this logic right here. And then as it's reducing that value, shit, yeah, we are real close here right now. Let's I hate to cut it off, but we're gonna stop it right here.